Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans, and we have our Week 20 preview coming right up. We only got 3 games going on this week. There are at least some ramifications for some of these games, but naturally, with us being in the final 2 weeks of the regular season, there's not a ton of big money games that are going to have a lot of influence. But we got at least one going on this weekend, so that is good to see. But first of all, Rick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Still getting over this cold, but we'll soon get there.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I'm still a little, honestly, I'm just tired this evening, but, got to get these recorded as, I got some stuff going on tomorrow night. So, but we got enough energy to at least talk some football. So all in all, shall we get into the first game this weekend? Which I'm going to turn more over to you as the Hamilton Ticats take on the Calgary Stampeders in Hamilton at Tim Hortons Field. Rick, go nuts.
This is going to be a nothing versus nothing game.
Yep.
Most likely it's just going to be, as I like to call it, an evaluation game for next season.
Yeah. This is where you play a lot of young guys to see if any of them stick and maybe see if you can keep some of those guys around.
Today was Stampeders' first practice, so Bangleton did not practice due to an illness. Eric Brooks did not practice, which was limited, so he kind of practiced, but he didn't. Hyman, wide receiver, did not practice, calf injury. And then Cole Tucker and Darius Williams did not practice for the Stamps. No word on if that I've heard yet as to who's going to be the quarterback this week. If it's going to be Jake Mayer or if it's going to be
Matt Schultz.
But on the Ticat side, Greg Bell is limited with ribs, so most likely James Butler will be starting again. Shamar Bridges is out for the rest of the season with a quad injury. Jamal Peters did not practice Monday, and he was limited Tuesday. Nick Usher was limited with an ankle injury both days. Kyle Wilson has an Achilles injury, did not practice both days, and Tim Ward, defensive line, did not practice today due to non-football related. So, with this being a nothing game, last Ticat home game of the season, I will not be at this game due to I have to work that night.
Yeah.
But this will be a game where people will be playing for jobs for next year between both teams.
Although I'm going to be honest, realistically, I think the favorite here is got to be Hamilton in the sense of that whenever you at least got a home game, you at least got something to play for. The kind of the crowd that you got there and getting something going. So I imagine kind of similar to like the preseason in the sense of you're going to see at least maybe a little bit more starters on the team that's got the home game, just as they're trying to get away from the home crowd.
Even if hypothetically, if they play Bo for half a game, he should be able to get at least 200 yards.
Yeah.
If he can get 200 yards or even play 3 quarters and at least get 4, just play him next week against Ottawa to get 100, and then he should be able to get the 5,000 on the season.
Yeah.
I would hate for him to get so close, and then they pull him and be like, no.
Yeah, no. Fair enough. Then also, it also kind of helps with what I was saying before of you want to put on a little bit of a performance for your home crowd, so have him go in even if he doesn't play the whole game and rack up a bit of points and then see where that goes. But all in all, man, I'm not going to lie, Rick, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle with some of these games finding out what to talk about in the sense of that because there's a lot of rookies that might be playing in the lineup, guys that are going to be competing for jobs next year. I think it's really unpredictable to kind of predict what kind of a lineup that we're going to see here.
Tim White's 2 yards away from 1,000. So he'll get that this game.
Yep.
Keandre Smith is 101 yards away from getting his first 1,000 yards.
Where's Shamar Bridges?
So Shamar Bridges is 933. Okay, so had he have not got injured,
he's about 67 away. But you say he's injured?
Yeah, he's injured for the rest of the season. So
forgot about that.
So hopefully, Boo, as they call him in Hamilton, Brandon O'Leary Orange will get more playing time. They call him Boo. Why? The B and then the O and the O. So.
O'Leary Orange. Yeah, no, I get that. See, hopefully if you want a real good name, you should have called him the Juice Man.
Well, from what I found out the other day is once non-playoff teams finish their season, their PR team becomes free agents, regardless if you sign them or not sign them before February. So basically, if you're not on a CFL team by end of next week, you're basically a free agent unless they re-sign you.
Yeah.
So that will be some interesting to see who plays where.
And the next couple of weeks, teams that could use a shakeup. Actually, both of these teams could use a little bit of a shakeup. I think Calgary needs a bit more of a shakeup than Hamilton, but I think both of these teams will get a bit of a shakeup.
Oh, this offseason is gonna feel nice because now we have the that extra incentive chinkle cash.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see who gets what contracts, where there will be going, who will be signing with who.
So all in all,
I'm going with the Ticats.
Yep, I'm going with Ticats as well. I think there's just more incentive for them to put up a decent performance. But that will then bring us into the second game of the week, which is Montreal, not the Montreal.
Battle of second place.
The Ottawa Red Blacks taking on the Toronto Argonauts. Red Blacks were leading the Argos for the longest time. Argos, though, with a win over Winnipeg last week, will take second in the East as Ottawa drops one to the Alouettes. And so this is now, I think this is the deciding factor for who will own the East semifinal. It is guaranteed now. That
not necessarily.
Oh,
because speaking hypothetically, if Ottawa wins, Ottawa will be above Toronto by 1 point. Yeah. Then next week it's Ottawa versus Hamilton, and Toronto, I think, plays Edmonton, if I'm not mistaken. So, even if... No, who plays who early?
Okay, so Ottawa needs to win this game in order to keep their hopes of having a home playoff game alive. However, if the Argos win, then the Argos do clinch the East semifinal. However, this will be very, very interesting because this is a little bit of a preview of the matchup between these two teams. In the sense of that these two teams will play each other in the first round of the Eastern, in the East semifinal for the Grey Cup playoffs, and so it'll be interesting to see what kind of
who plays who.
Well, not even who plays who, because we know they're playing against each other. But
no, like who starts for Ottawa. Because
I'm not going to lie. I think if you're either one of these... I mean, obviously, if you're the Red Blacks, you kind of want that home playoff game. But at the same time, I also think there's advantage of kind of don't show your whole deck. You know what I mean? You got your hand. Don't show your whole hand. You don't want to play all your cards this game because you want to hit them with them. You want to hit them in the playoffs with that. If you allow your opponent to just completely know your playbook and whatnot... as much as you can still win by getting past that. I mean, look at Buck Pearson Winnipeg. He's got the simplest playbook out there. But at the end of the day, you still have to stop it. I think Shane from 13th Man Sports said it very, very well when we were it was when we were talking about the Tommy Condell playbook, funny enough, in the Ottawa midseason report video. So you still need to stop it. However, it is another. You want to give your opponents as few tools to hit you with. You don't want to be handing them the weapon that they can then hurt you with. So I think if you're either of these teams, you're going to try to play this relatively conservative, and see how you're able to do with that. All in all, Rick, how you feeling about this one? Argos, Red Blacks.
I don't think Red Blacks will win, per se. But, I mean, at this point, anyone can beat anyone.
Yeah, that's true. However, I do think if the Argos, I have to imagine they got a decent amount of motivation after a big win against Winnipeg and a excellent defensive effort by that Toronto Argonauts defensive line. And the Ottawa Red Blacks offensive line has been decent. However, we've seen, especially in prior years, how much they can crumble. And if there's any D-line in the league that's going to be able to make that happen, it's going to be that unit that they have in Toronto. And so, all in all, my prediction would be that the Toronto Argonauts are going to defeat the Ottawa Red Blacks. Rick?
As much as I hate to say this, I'm also going to have to go with Toronto.
Yeah.
But Ottawa, please prove me wrong.
God, everyone at home, you guys can probably tell how tired we are and how much we are recovering. Although, to be fair, even if we weren't tired at all, there's really not that much to talk about. Just trying to at least dive in a little bit. But that would leave us then with the last game of the week. That does have
the Vernon Adams BC Lions.
That's right. The BC Lions take on the Alouettes, the Montreal Alouettes, for their last home game of the season. And actually, now thinking about it, the last Lions game of the season, as they don't play in Week 21, they have a bye week. And Vernon Adams Jr. going in for the Lions. You got to think now, Rick. Although it's you know it's crazy. How much you want to bet Vernon Adams Jr. goes in, plays incredible, beats the Alouettes, and then the Lions still try to go with Nathan Rourke for Game 1 of the playoffs?
No, they've already said. Rich Campbell came out and said today, if Vernon Adams does well in this game, he's the starter for the playoffs. If he doesn't do well, then...
That's good. It's about time that a good decision happens in BC, because of last game was just a pure disaster for them. And as much as they really did not learn from their mistakes within that game, you got to think with them watching film now that they at least hopefully start to, for their own sake, they hopefully start making those changes that they need to make. Not necessarily hopeful for me. I don't really want BC to do that well. But then again, I really don't want Saskatchewan to do that well either. I just want my Bombers to do well over in the West. But with this game, Davis Alexander, I imagine, will be starting again for the Alouettes. And good on him. Just get some reps in. Davis Alexander, he's a talented quarterback. And I think there's a lot that the Alouettes can get out of him. And who knows, maybe if it's one of those things where in a few years, if Fajardo ever starts to fall off, Davis Alexander, he's got the potential that he really can possibly be that replacement. So getting him some time, some field time, and allowing him to build his confidence and really improve as a player is really, really key. And for the Lions here, the Lions are looking, they're 3 points behind the Riders. And so are the Lions now, so this would mean that the Lions are now, they will not have a home playoff game this year.
Nope.
As both Winnipeg and Saskatchewan have clinched home playoff games, but are still yet, it is yet to be known whether the West Final will be at Mosaic Stadium in Regina or at IG Field, Princess Auto Stadium, whatever the hell you want to call it, in Winnipeg. So that is yet to be seen, but BC knows that they will be on the road against one of those two teams in the West semifinal. And so all in all, the only factor in this game, in my opinion, is realistically Vernon Adams Jr. getting the opportunity to show why, he was at one point the lead candidate for the MOP. And so he's gotta get back to it, because they brought in Bryce last game when stuff started hitting the fan. And Rick, I think you explained it very, very well in our last video about how kind of that had just shown the mismanagement with the Lions.
I mean, I'm not even looking forward to this week. I'm looking forward to next weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I will be sitting there in front of the TV with my chips and my popcorn, watching the 3:00 game between Winnipeg and Montreal, and then the 7:00 game between Saskatchewan and Calgary, because at the end of the day, we will know if by 6:00 Eastern time, if Winnipeg has home field or not.
Yeah, as if Winnipeg in week 21, if Winnipeg wins, then they have the West Final, no matter the outcome of the Saskatchewan game. If Winnipeg loses that game, reminder, this is week 21 we're talking about, so we're talking an extra week in the future. If Winnipeg loses, Saskatchewan needs to beat Calgary in order to gain the West Final. But so Winnipeg, all they got to do is win. With Saskatchewan, they need a Winnipeg loss, and then they have to win as well.
So,
which shouldn't be.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I know we're skipping the gun here, but I do have a quick question for you.
Yep.
If you're Corey Mace, would you dress your starters and keep them healthy for the playoffs, or would you start them in this meeting game?
Want me
if Winnipeg had lost the first game?
So it depends. So if Winnipeg loses the first game, I think if you're Corey Mace, you play your starters the first half. I think you do like a half game sort of thing.
And finger crossed that they don't get injured. Because then you'd be screwed for the playoffs.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, is that anytime your players hit the field, there's an opportunity for them to get injured. If you get the West Final, then it ensures you don't get any injuries in the West semifinal. So this is and that's an intense game. So that's a thing to keep in mind, is that you could sit these guys and who knows if you win this game. But if you go through and you make sure that you for sure win this game, you ensure that there's no injuries that happen in the West semifinal, and you get that week's rest to kind of rest up any guys that do have injuries. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but we're having a little bit of fun with that because there's really not that much to talk about this week. But Alouettes, Lions, Rick, who you got?
I got the Alouettes.
I'm not gonna lie, I have to take the Alouettes after watching that BC performance. Oof, I cannot take.
Watch me both take the Alouettes and BC wins.
I kind of don't care. This is
Hey, just think, your boy comes back in 7 months.
My boy comes back.
Dalton Schoen comes back in 7 months.
Yeah,
he'll be training camp in 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months too late.
Just think of that, eh? Just take that all in. Season's ending, playoffs and Grey Cup, and then like 6
Rick,
months.
I gotta think about I gotta think about Bombers and then think about that later afterwards. We gotta
because then you switch to jet mode.
Well, that's all those
actors. And Moose Watch.
Well, I'll do my Carter's Corner still in some of those Jets videos. We're already on that, Rick.
Oh my God! What a blast your brother was during that trip.
Like, you mean like during the Jets game, because he wasn't there.
No, just like the laughs, like the hoots and howls, and me and him had. It's like, oh my Lord.
I was about to say, it was really, really funny when we got into the stadium, and I texted a drunk Zach to turn to his left, and he turns around.
I was just sitting there waving.
And it was, oh, and it just like runs up the stairs.
He's like, oh, let me give you a big hug.
Yeah. But all in all, I think that's all we got, Rick. Super short video for this one. And I say super short video, like our videos from like a year or two ago didn't used to all be 20 minutes for the entire season.
But I mean,
But there's not really that much to talk about with this week. It's just
Not when you're only out on Tuesday.
yeah. So all in all, we hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving with their families this weekend. And
if you people would like to see these lovely hats come out,
or anything Canadian Football Central related, because I have ideas, but it's one of those things I'm only going to do it if the people are interested in terms of anything merch-wise.
If the people have
shirts,
spoken.
Hoodies, cups, hats, whatever it is. If there's something...
You can bet we have shirts. We'll be repping.
Yeah, we'll get shirts at some point for us at least, Rick. But who knows? Maybe the people at home want them. So if you guys are interested in something like that and would actually buy that,
also
comment that in the comment section down below to kind of give us some feedback there.
Regina, you're nice people, but that -9 weather Sunday morning, you can keep it. I do not want it.
My. Well, it's funny because you were like, man, it's a little colder here in Regina. I guess that's not a problem you guys have in Winnipeg. And I looked at you and I was just like, you don't know the half of it, brother. Like
I definitely was not expecting.
It gets stupid cold in both Regina and Winnipeg.
When we were leaving to go back to Winnipeg on the Sunday, I definitely was not expecting that -9.
Was it really -9? I didn't feel
with the wind chill. It was -9.
Oh, okay. Because I was supposed to say it felt like more like
because you had to warm up your car because the windows were fogged
I gotta warm up my car even like today, and like I gotta warm up my car tomorrow. I had to scrape the frost off my car this morning to go to work.
Jesus, it's not that cold, is it?
Yeah, it was in the mornings in Winnipeg. It is. It frosts up the humidity. It freezes up. Hey, you said it was in the negatives. If it's in the negatives, frost forms.
I guess.
So I did have to scrape it off my car. However, I got my remote start fixed today, so I can heat it up in advance. So that'll be nice. I realized the battery
and yours truly
fob died.
Was given a full tour of not only Carter's lovely setup right here, but also the Nolan Hockey Podcast setup as well.
Yeah, and then all of Winnipeg. I drove you guys everywhere. Guys,
the dangerous spots not to go to at nighttime.
I took you down a journey through the north end, down Mountain Road.
What it's like to be a rich person in Winnipeg?
Wellington Crescent, I took you guys there. Took you guys by the Forks, the stupid bridge with a restaurant on it.
One thing that I will say, our group learned, if you see a fight, as much as you want to help people out, just keep on walking.
And that's the thing. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where you... that is something that happened. I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked that Connor saw that, as I've always actually seen it like up close, like 2 to 3 times in my life. And so I was amazed. I was actually shocked that in the 2 days that Connor was here that he saw one. But it's one of those things.
I mean, technically we were there for 4 days.
Yeah, but you weren't really
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
You weren't, but you weren't really seeing the full city that time.
Oh yeah, true.
But true. It's one of those things where you kind of have to know your place, and at the end of the day, if you want to, I understand that you're well intentioned and whatnot, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna try to be the peacekeeper and enforce the law, then just become a cop. So just don't go in and get yourself hurt, as it's very easy for a lot of people to do that.
True.
So you got to look out for yourself.
Yes.
And if you have any family members or friends or whatever. But anyways, on to a happier note. Even if it is some not as exciting games, we still got CFL games this weekend, so it's not all bad, right?
Oh my lord.
Oh, what happened, Rick?
Edmonton Oilers actually won in overtime.
Oh, who'd they beat? I saw your goalie got a goalie goal.
My goalie got a goalie goal?
Yeah, Gustafsson.
Did
you not see that?
Edmonton beat Philly.
Did you not see that? Gustafson got a goalie goal.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding. In St. Louis, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
There you go.
I will have to go watch that.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, share, and we really should have ended this video a few minutes ago, but whatever. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the little notification bell. Helps out the channel a ton. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify, make sure you guys give us 5 stars. We'd really, really appreciate that. Your support means a lot. And we will see you guys next time.